Welcome back. Well, we heard that song, Mabini Jam Question. Don't ask me jam question too.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes people think jam questions are too hard.
Well, we're talking education. JAM is one of those exams that you have to take between secondary education and tertiary education. So you have to take that examination for you to get into the tertiary education. But we're talking equipping the Nigerian child, a fulcrum being education. There are a lot of things that surround the Nigerian child. Yesterday was Children's Day. The Nigerian child goes through quite a number of, or faces a number of challenges. Some of them are involved in child labor. Some are not in school as they should be, or some are in schools that they don't really get the kind of education that they ought to get. So how do we equip the Nigerian child? How do we ensure that the rights of the Nigerian child are protected? All of those things we'll look at today. We're having the studio to help us look at this. Professor Bukola Oyawoye of the Adeleke University of Osun State. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Also here is God Bless Otubere, a child rights activist. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. Gabriel Oyediji, Secretary of Homes and Orphanages of Nigeria. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Let's begin. Let me begin with the Prof. Professor. You're a teacher, so that makes me to call you a teacher.
Yeah.
But you've had to work with children over time. Tell us your assessment of the state of a Nigerian child right now.
The state of a Nigerian child is that of a deprived child. The state of a Nigerian child is that of a brilliant child born into an environment that has not given them the best. I'll tell you why. I've worked as a teacher, and I have also worked as a consultant to UNICEF, UNICEF, in the 10 zones of the country known as D-zone on child nutrition. If you see an average Nigerian child, forget about the ones from classical homes. Even the ones from the classical homes have not been given the best environment, and I'll tell you why. If you see these ones that I'm talking about, you weep for the nation. Little wonder that we had Boko Harams or these people who are avengers now. It's because the way you lay your bed is the way you lie on it. We've not treated an average child of Nigeria who will eventually, anyways, without option, grow into an adult. So when you do not raise a child well, what can he give to the society? A child is also prone, an average Nigerian child is prone to abuse. He's on the streets. He's on the streets. More than 50% of an average kid in most parts of Nigeria, particularly in, north, southeast, southwest, and maybe south. I have gone in a cycle that I want us to see where the problems are more. Are on the street. A child that does not sleep in a room, a child that do not have slippers, or has had to pick 2 different sizes of slippers to survive, and needed you to donate clothes or picks a rag on the street and wear, does not have value for a house. So if he's asked to go and burn down a house, he's willing. A child that has not been given proper education, if that you have abused, is beaten in the morning to wake up very early, and is pushed out, had to go, selling or hawking, and is back, and is tired. And then you say, but I make him to go to school. He's not growing in a very good environment. He's bound to have a criminal mind. He doesn't, if you inflicted so much pain, you've taken an house girl as a woman from God knows where, and you're treating that person like a pig, and then you're worried that when you are not at home, he gives your child urine or something. You've set the pace. And average, even the ones in good homes or rich homes, their mothers are not available. She's been in the bank all day, and then she's coming in the evening. The house girl has fixed the food, and then she's tired. And then the little girl is saying, Mom, maybe she wants to start her menstruation or whatever. She doesn't have who to talk with. Then you're tired, you're sleeping 7 a.m., you're out of the house, and you're looking for a child that is fantastic. you're disturbing yourself. And may I warn us, if we do not take care of Nigerian child or children, they will grow anyways. There's something you cannot take away from anybody, that's growth. And you would become that governor, that would disturb the society so much. Because he could struggle here and there, manage to get some form of education and get some illegal money, spread around, get to position, and then he will misrule you. But why will he not steal? Because the sense of depriver, most of these people that steals money, these ones that are adults today, they have been deprived as a youth. Because you look at the rate at which they take away money, you will know that they are simply mad. It is just that they are sick. What do you do with billions that you can't spend? What do you do with a mansion that you cannot live in Australia? This is Nigeria. What do you do with 500 wristwatches? Madness. They were deprived as a child. Maybe you couldn't have a meat to eat. He's been abused. And then he's grown so wild and find himself an opportunity. And he thinks the next thing is security. Let me secure more. Let me get more. Nigerian child is not well treated.
Thank you so much. Let me come to Dr. Oyedeji. She said, Oyedeji,
yeah.
She said the Nigerian child, apart from all of this she's described, is brilliant. You run an orphanage. Tell us about the children you have.
Well, the fact is that, well, I mean, I also had this, I'm also one of the coordinators of Child Protection Network in Lagos State, and we monitor what goes on here and there. Looking, typically Nigerian child has a lot of potential, you know, but to help them to become what they ought to become is a problem. Every child needs somebody to believe, needs somebody to trust, need a place to belong, and need someone to become. Need somebody to believe, need a place to belong, and need someone to become in life. But do we help them to get there? There's a lot of alienation today between the parents and the children. Children live in a extreme state of unhappiness and depression, and they are looking for respite outside. They are looking for how to get out of this room. They are so insecure, and that's the problem. That's what we are advocating in Child Protection Network. That the law called child rights must be circulated, and the principle must be implemented for the security of the children, both in social care home and outside there. In fact, some children in the social care home are even better than those who are under their parents. They live better because they have other parents, they have more freedom to share. Because those under social care home are being guided by governmental laws and instructions. There are things they cannot do with them. There's no freedom is allowed, all is allowed to extent. But under their own parent is a problem. The father is a bullying father, is a commander, is a military officer. Yes, what do you want? Very bad habit. There's no relationship between the father and the children. The mother also vent anger. You know, when pressure packed, you know, when they become pressure packed, you know, the next thing the child becomes vulnerable. The child doesn't know anything. There's a problem between the father and the mother. The child becomes many children have been wounded, have been physically abused, unknowingly, innocently. And that's but these children have big potential. You know, we need to see them. You need to know what God has packaged in them. But they need somebody to help them out of life and to get where God has ordained them to be. But sincerely, it's funny. I just went through one scripture recently in the scripture, and it says that's in Proverbs chapter 39 of that verse 16. He said, you know, he compared two birds. One he called one ostrich, one peacock. When peacock takes out his own young ones, they also put his egg in the doors and doesn't care whether anybody match and break it. And said he treats his own young ones as he's not going to give back to them. Many Nigerian parents treat their children as if they are not giving back to them. And it's very bad. It's very sad. In fact, it's something to be worried about because of the future of these children, and because they have future, we don't have other future than them. And what we sow in them is what we reap in the future.
God bless. What efforts do you think have been put in place to stop the abuse of children? Because I see they're abused every day.
in talking about efforts, there has been a lot of initiatives put together by private organizations, even government institutions, international organizations like UNICEF, UNESCO, and the rest of them. But where you find the divide is the fact that some of these initiatives are not well implemented. And so, like what the last speaker said, he talked about the Child Right Act. A couple of states have passed it in their own House of Assemblies. I know Lagos State has, and that's a good one. But if you look at it in general, you discover that non-implementation of what has even been envisaged to protect the child is one of the major problems. So yes, you can say that a lot has been done, like my organization, Clothe the Child. We have started the I Take Responsibility project, where our dream is to find, if you find a child on the street hawking, and that's supposed to be school time, get out of your car and act on it. So it's not just you identify a child.
Hold on, get out of your car, act on it.
Yes.